So now that we have a clear idea on what we're going to put on the CV, it's time to actually write the CV. So basically, one thing that is quite like a discussion is whether people should or shouldn't include their cover letter. From my personal perspective, it depends on whether you're applying for a position with a recruitment agency or whether you are applying directly with an employer. I believe that when you are applying directly with an employer, I would include the cover letter. I would definitely keep it brief, maybe one page, like a half a page, where you would highlight the key, like your personality traits, but also your skills, your education, and all the keywords that are necessary for the position. So have a look through the job specifications, find the keywords, and make sure that when you're talking about your experience or yourself in a cover letter, highlight these keywords that are gonna make, you know, a good fit or a good match, and good match with the job specification that you're actually applying for. When you're submitting your CV to a recruitment agency, we daily go through hundreds of CVs. And usually when candidates send us the CVs with the cover letter, we usually go straight to the CV because it takes approximately half a minute to make us realize whether this is a good candidate or not. What is very important when you're writing the CV is that at the beginning, definitely mention your name, your surname, your address. Don't forget your contact details because some people do, and then it's like, okay, and how am I supposed to contact you, you know? So, and then another thing is that some people include the social media, which can be a good idea, but you have to be careful on how much you actually disclose. So do not put there your Facebook page with all the pictures when you went partying last Friday. That I would say is a no. But definitely put there your LinkedIn profile where there's an actual picture as well, so you don't have to include it in your CV. And Twitter, for example, but again, make sure that you do not disclose too much of your personal. Make it very professional. Another part should be either your profile with an objective or key achievements that would be relevant to a specific position that you are again applying for. So that even if you're like sending the CV to a recruiter not for a specific position, it would be good to mention the objectives that you think that would give you or that represent the position that you would be interested in or the sector that you are interested in, kind of like to show a direction that you want to go with your career. Another thing, or following that part of the CV, should be your working experience or education. I'm saying or because for graduates who might not have sufficient experience within a field that you want to get into, education might be a little bit more relevant. That means put your modules, put any projects that you worked on, definitely put a degree. And after that you can mention the working experience because it always looks good when while you were studying you also took an effort and you worked, even if it was a restaurant job or you were a barman or you know, worked behind the bar or you were cleaning. It doesn't matter. As long as you put an effort and made something creative or you were working and you were trying to put yourself through the studies, it's always going to reflect good on yourself. And then once you get an actual experience that is relevant to your career, then you can put it in your CV. For professionals that have relevant working experience, definitely put the working experience first. Highlight the times when you were in the position, the company, the position that you were actually in, and what were your responsibilities. Please, seriously, do not write a personal story. Like, when people write in a first person and are telling the whole story of how they actually got the job and how a miracle it was, no. Write your responsibilities in a bullet point so it's clear, it's to the point, and I can actually know what you have, what you don't have, what you've done, what you haven't done. And with this, what is very important is that do not try to prolong your experience. When you work somewhere for a month, put the month there. Do not put 2 months or anything, because some companies do really proper checks, and it might seem like you're lying, and then even if you're offered a position, they can actually pull based on you looking like you're lying. So be careful about this. Another factor that a lot of candidates have concerns about is having gaps in your CVs or having contract positions. When it comes to gaps in your CVs, do not be embarrassed about being made redundant. Or when you went traveling, just put in your gap when you went traveling and where did you go even, and what it gave you. Sometimes it can be interesting because it's going to reveal a little bit about your personality, what kind of person are you, and whether you're going to be a good fit, for example, for the position. So sometimes it can even help you, get the interview. Another thing is that you need to consider is sometimes it looks like people are, we call it a jumping CVs. It means that you are in a position for quite a short period of time. And recruiters and employers are not very attracted to this, because they were looking for someone who's going to be with them for a while, who's going to help shape, for example, the company. So even if you were in a contract position, put in the description bar or under the dates when you were actually in a position, put this was 2 months contract. And again, do not be embarrassed, because it gave you great experience, relevant experience, and it definitely shaped you to who you are today. So just make sure that you highlight all these issues. And then the second part for professionals after working experience is the education. So here I would include all the master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, any certificates, language certificates, higher diplomas, and for some countries, mainly Europe and UK, they require also the level. But this again depends on the country and the employer, so going back to your research. But it never hurts putting the degree that you got at the end of your studies. After the education, it is good to include the languages that you speak, whether you have a driving license, because some positions may include traveling, and also your hobbies. Hobbies are a very interesting part of the CV, because it gives you an idea about the person. If someone tells you that they like watching the movies, they like going to cinemas, usually when it comes to hobbies, it's good to give something that may be a little bit interesting, like working for a non-profit organization, or writing for some school newspaper, or anything that's going to be a little bit not so typical. It's good to include sports as well, because it shows that you are a driven person, you are someone who likes challenges, who has a drive and likes to improve. So all these things, please do not put in your hobby that you like sleeping. I mean, everybody enjoys sleeping, but do not put it in your CV. So anything interesting that you think that will give you a good idea about yourself and your personality, don't forget to mention it. Also, sometimes I had candidates, or my colleagues had candidates, who put that they had hobbies or other skills, and they put the title other skills and the driving license, and then they mentioned none. So please, if you don't have a driving license, you don't have to mention that you don't have it. Other than that, I think this should be fair enough for the content of your CV. If you have any further questions, please just ask them, and in the next video I will try to sum them up and answer them. And also, please do not forget to subscribe, and definitely share this video with your friends, even if they might not be looking for a job, you never know. And please follow Case and Recruitment on LinkedIn. I'll link all the links below the video. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, please ask. And next video is going to be focusing on the interview tips, so tune in next week.